Hey, what's up, Geekscapists? Welcome to a brand new Geekscape podcast. I'm Jonathan London, your host. And if this is your first Geekscape, well, if this is your first Geekscape, you picked a pretty good one to hop on with because we're going to be talking a lot of news and reviews. It's kind of a classic Geekscape going on right now. I've got Katie, Matt, and Derek from the Geekscape Network joining me. And we'll just take you through the latest news and reviews and all that. That's usually what we do on Geekscape, but sometimes we like to mix it up with a guest. Sometimes we have specials. Sometimes Ian Kerner comes over and we review a major event movie, usually in the comic book space, like a big Marvel or DC film. And that's just kind of what we offer here on Geekscape. If you are new to Geekscape, but many of you are not new to Geekscape, and I just want to thank you all for continuing to listen to us over the years. We have a lot of cool stuff going on throughout the summer, including a blood drive. We're organizing a blood drive in memory of a Geekscape that we lost, our friend Chris Ellis. And when he was in the hospital, his wife Sarah said, "You know what they need?" And she just found out that over at UCLA, what they needed was blood, and so we're going to organize a blood drive. We're talking to the folks at UCLA, and we're actually talking to people in a national organization to try and get as many of y'all involved as possible. So be ready to give blood, because we here at Geekscape, we give a damn, and that's what we do. So let's get down to it. We're going to talk news, reviews, all that stuff. How's your week been? I hope y'all have been good. And let's just start it off with my co-host, Katie. Here she is. It's been a while since we talked. Katie, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? I've got a nice new hoodie, and it's real great.
It looked like you skinned Sonic the Hedgehog in like wearing his pelt.
I'm so into that, and I think that's why I chose this blue, because it matches my headphones for one, and two, it's a Sonic blue. It's very nice.
Yeah, got to go faster next time is all I got to say to Sonic, because Katie snatched you, skinned you, and now she's wearing you. I'm going to call you Katie Robotnik at this point because you're definitely a villain. Because he's a villain in the Sonic verse, and you clearly skinned Sonic and are wearing his hide.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, so
that makes a lot of sense. I did have a client by the last name of Knuckles, and I was like, "Do you watch Sonic by any chance?" And he's like, "No, I'm older." And I was like, "That's fair, but your last name is Knuckles, and that's awesome."
Yeah, you know what? Like growing up in film and enjoying all the comics and video games, and then like not outgrowing that stuff and having like
having all these culture, like love and interest in like these things that pop into your mind, like, "Oh, did you ever watch this one thing?" And they're like, "No," and they're like, "Oh, I have nothing to talk to you about."
It's just the Arrested Development that we have adopted. We sometimes associate that to everybody because our friend group is all kind of in a similar place. And that's what we built Geekscape to be that place. And there have been times when the social inadequacies pop up in the Geekscape biosphere. And I just have to remind myself, we built Geekscape, not Successful Adultscape. It's like, this is what we do. And we have successes, but my mantra is, you got to get old. You do not have to grow up. Welcome to Geekscape.
Oh, no. It's like all the realizations are hitting at once.
No, as if they haven't been hit in your face by reality every single day. And Christopher Robinson's in the chat. And he says, "Hey, that's Katie Eggman to you. So you are the Japanese version right there."
Yes.
And and Big Yanks, he says, well, I think it's a Boba Fett helmet.
Oh, yeah, that is.
There's a Boba Fett helmet emoji. So enjoy that, podcast listeners. We got a bunch of visual jokes for you over here. We're streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, all that stuff. And here we go. Speaking of Arrested Development, Matt Kelly's here. And Matt had a giant life event. He bought a house that his sister no longer wanted. And it now has a couch in the garage that his sister no longer wanted.
Yeah.
So Matt, I just wanted to tell you, I love you. You're one of my best friends. You are not your family's recycling bin.
Ooh. No. So here's the thing. So she left the couch. She was like, "Hey, our friend's going to pick this up." And then their friend was like, "I don't want the couch." And she's like, "Well, you know, you're part of this HOA. That means that it's big trash every trash day through the HOA. So you just drag it to the curb." Well, then I get a letter in the mail from the HOA letting us know that people have been abusing the trash level so much that now we're limited to a single trash can per house old.
So you cannot get rid of the
So I
couch
can't
by
take
just
the-
bringing it to the curb.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, I need to get these out of the garage so I can park in my garage.
Now, Matt, did the person bail on picking up the couch after photos were posted of the couch? Because you posted some photos on social media.
Look, they had
And
some
listen.
dogs, and it's scratched up. It's a beat up couch. I get it, but it is very comfy. I've slept on that couch at least once.
Sure.
Okay, this couch it's a bigger dog bed. All right, it's basically what Matt's telling you. But please come get it. Let's say you're a hoarder. If you're a hoarder and you want a couch, come get the couch from Matt, please.
If you're a college student and you're just looking for something to put in your apartment and you've got you're just like, I just need a place to sit. It doesn't need to be good.
And you're on the East Coast. That's a big important part.
And you're specifically
all the
able to drive and pick it up because I will
yeah.
not be driving it to you.
Yeah, listen, man. You just put a little throw thing on it. The couch will be brand new, and anybody who's on it's going to be drunk anyway. So this couch could just be anything.
Hey, frats, come get it.
Yeah. Please come get the couch from Matt.
Couch.
Matt, why don't you just keep the couch, put it in your backyard, and have it for like cookouts or something like that?
Because listen, I've lived in this area once before, and I got a $200 fine for having a screen door underneath my deck for breaking HOA rules. So I definitely don't think they're going to approve a couch on the deck.
Okay, this is what you do.
Man, HOA just be charging for everything.
Oh, HOAs are out of control.
Okay.
No, technically, here's the thing. Technically,
Fine.
I could take it to the curb, but I have to call the trash company and tell them what I'm taking to the curb, and then they'll tell me how much extra they're charging me for it. Which at that point, I'm like, no, this is my sister's problem.
All right.
Not anymore, bud.
Listen, you got to stop playing hot potato with your family, all right?
Yeah.
They're just leaving you all this stuff. It's disrespectful, and this is what you're going to do. You're going to take the couch over to your sister's place, and you're going to dump it on her curb.
I can't fit it into anything. I'd have to literally carry it to her house.
It's only a couple blocks, right?
Yeah.
It's like
the Kellys all live. Yeah, the Kellys all live within like a 3-block radius of each other. It's like this. It's like a hive structure, right?
Yeah,
like
I mean, Brian escaped. He got down to Georgia somehow, but the rest of us.
Brian.
Under the dark of night, you're just going to take that couch on your back, turtle style, just slowly.
She'll lose. That would be so. Oh my God, her just like waking up in the couch and recliner, just sitting on her porch.
Okay. All right, this is what you're gonna do, Matt. You're gonna take a bunch of dog food. You're gonna.
No, I don't like this.
Like no, you stop
your story, but
okay,
oh my God,
this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna find a buddy with a truck. Anybody, give him $20. Get some cans of dog food, wet dog food. You're gonna put that stuff in the middle of the night on your sister's curb on her lawn. Just put it on her lawn. Block her door with it, including the love seat that comes with it. You're gonna slit open those little cushions. You're gonna empty the dog food into it. Let's make sure you do this around 10 p.m. Really let the smell get in there. When she wakes up, she's gonna have a family of raccoons living in those things. All right. So just really make sure that it's attractive to animals. Maybe put some seeds in there. Whatever you want to do. But it's basically going to be a biohazard by the time she goes to get her morning newspaper. All right.
Here's the thing. Here's the other interesting story about this place that I live. And it's going to sound like I live in a real shithole of a neighborhood. It's actually a beautiful little area. I like where I live. I love this house. I love everything about this house. But the next door neighbor is a cat lady. And when I say that she's a cat lady, what I mean is that because she's the head of the HOA, she's above the law.
And she's next to you.
And she's next door to me. And she has 10 bowls of cat food outside at all times for the strays in the neighborhood.
Sure.
And I, at night, have never seen a cat eating out of it, but I've seen raccoons. I've seen possums. I've seen foxes eating out of there.
Matt, strike all my suggestions from the record. This is what you're going to do. All right.
Put it on her deck.
No. She clearly will know where the couch came from, right? But this is what you do. All right, 2 birds, 1 stone. You take the couch, you take it over to your sister's, you slit a hole in it, you put the cat food in there. You take the old lady's cat food, you shove it deep into those cushions, every single cushion. We're talking the armrest, we're talking the bottom, we're talking the back, we're talking every cushion in there. You just fill it with cat food. And just like you said, those raccoons, those wild animals, they'll be eating out of that complete cat food stuffed couch. By the time 8 a.m. rolls around and your sister wakes up with her kids, they're going to have a family of raccoons living in their front yard in that couch.
That's the plan. That's what I'm doing. Let's do this.
And the old lady will be like, I could have sworn there were 18 bowls of cat food out front. Why are there only 12? So also, I definitely see a Tales of the Dark Side situation happening with the lady for the HOA happening next door, where like you're just gonna not hear from her for a month, and you're gonna get this smell in your house, and you're gonna slowly you're gonna call somebody, they're gonna pick the lock, they're gonna let you in, and then you're just gonna get a cat climbing out of that woman's mouth. So you can be dead.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be the ending of Creep Show with the cockroaches for sure, but it's gonna be cats.
Matt, you're one of the co-hosts of Horror Movie Night on the podcast network here at Geekscape. That's Tales of the Dark Side, right? Where the cat comes out of the lady's mouth.
Yep.
Okay.
The Cat from Hell is the name of the segment.
Well, I would like for you to acknowledge on the next Horror Movie Night podcast that, you know what, Jonathan, his knowledge of all geekdom, mile wide, inch deep. I can still cover all topics poorly.
My favorite thing is that you brought in Derek, and he's had not a single second to be able.
That's
to
not Derek.
You know,
Geekscape. If you're watching this on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, you know that is not Derek. Derek is always clean shaven. That is somebody who crawled into Derek's house.
I didn't know if I was supposed to talk yet because I didn't get an intro. So, I was just trying to.
All right, so he said what he wanted to say here on Geekscape. That was Derek, everybody. No. I hope you liked him, enjoyed him here on the show. And I'm sorry, I just know he won't get mad when we mess with him because he's Canadian.
That's why.
That's the only reason why.
I've let myself go a little bit. I'm scared of going to the mall still. I just got my first vaccine shot, so still working up that immunity. I ended up with Moderna. Not too bad. It knocked me on my ass for like 3 days though. I had it felt like I had like a flu for like 3 days. But yeah, my hair is I look ridiculous. If Katie skins Sonic the Hedgehog to wear him, I feel like I skinned the honeycomb monster. Yeah, that's what it looks like on top of my head right now. So
why don't you just have Michaela cut your hair? Like, if you on the Geekscape YouTube, you can see Heidi cutting my hair. That was successful.
Michaela has cut my hair a couple of times during the pandemic, and it went quite well. But it takes so much longer compared to like a hairdresser that is trained for, to cut a 3-hour block of time out on, one of my days off. Feels like a lot.
Derek, this is what you do. You take a can of dog food. All right. You take a can of dog food. You go down to the local dog park. You bury that dog food. You put it all over your head. All right, nice and good. And you lay down on the ground.
No.
So Derek, I have a question for you because I think you said this I want to say at least 2 or 3 months ago that the situation that you're in right now, or at least at that time in Canada, was that if you got the first shot of something, it would be literal months until you were allowed to get the second shot. Yeah, I do know that like about a month ago, I want to say Biden was kind of just like, we're sending this shit out to other places. Are you still going to have to wait months, or are you actually able to follow like the recommended 3 to 4 weeks?
It's a great question. They're going fast and loose in Canada. It went from, the recommended is like 28 days or something between shots. They increased that to 16 weeks. Okay. And then now they have reduced it. I think it's like 10 weeks or something like that. But that revelation was just in the past few days. Today, they also announced that they might mix vaccines. And so if you got one vaccine to start, you might get your second shot of a different vaccine.
You can't do that.
So I've heard a few people do that. They got the first shot of Moderna and their second shot was Pfizer. And apparently they're fine.
Well, you don't end up like that. You don't end up like that toxic waste dude in RoboCop who's like, help me.
What? Well, I remember like we were like specifically told that like make sure you get the right vaccine for the second one, like because
well, Katie's second one never happened.
Well, no, because I think you went to the same people that gave me my shot, who were like, "You're getting Moderna," and I'm like, "Great!" And then they're like, "By the way, it was Johnson & Johnson." I was like, "What?"
Surprise! We gave you the Russian stuff.
I don't even think Johnson & Johnson has hit Canada yet at this point. I think
Probably does.
Yeah, they AstraZeneca was a big one for a while, and then they were like, "Oh, maybe don't get this one." But then they're like, "It's fine again. We're just kidding. It was all good." And then nobody wanted that one still. So it's really the Pfizer and the Moderna are the primaries that they're giving at this point. But yeah, and then they were like, we might give you a different second dose, and then they were like, oh no, that's a bad idea, we're not going to do that. And then like 2 weeks later, it's like, you're probably going to get a different vaccine on your second one. So they're really just making it up as they go along.
Look, Derek, just all you have to think about is at the end of all of this,
when we sit down at Panda Express,
you're going to get some mango salsa.
Yeah,
you're going to get some. This is all for those San Diego goodies.
Give me one of each, and so I can get down to the whatever.
Katie's never gone to San Diego Comic-Con with us and understood that our major meetings are at
Panda Express.
That Baja play, the Rocket Baja that has the but that you know what, if Derek can't make it, this is what you do. We'll be at Rocket Baja. You'll still be stuck in Canada. You take a can of dog food.
I haven't been there in 2 weeks. I haven't been there in like
by this like whole like you might get a second vaccine that's totally different. Because like I talked to my doctor afterwards. I was like, hey, so they gave me Johnson & Johnson and they kind of duped me, and I was like, what if I go in for like a different one? And she's like, don't do that. Yeah. Don't even think about doing that. And I was like, okay.
I mean, if you'd like to come to Canada, they'll give you whatever you want. And
I've always wanted to go.
You just have to stay here for 4 months to get. Yeah. You just have to stay here forever to be able to get your second one. But
so my favorite thing is when I took over doing Geekscape's Instagram page, which it used to be run by Derek and Michaela. One of the things that I noticed right away was that the news feed on the Geekscape Forever Instagram page was constantly filled with updates from Rock and Baja, because that was one of the like 50 accounts that they followed on there.
You do not unfollow that account.
No,
I haven't been there in 2 years. They're like the one email list that I haven't unsubscribed to, because it just brings me a little bit of joy every time. It feels like they're speaking right to me.
Okay. We'll be back. I mean, I'm getting solicitations from Comic-Con. I don't know if that November Thanksgiving weekend Comic-Con is going to happen, but I do know that LA Comic-Con is happening the weekend afterwards. This is the weekend of December 3rd through the 5th. It's going to happen here at the LA Convention Center. I actually know who the guests are, and they're pretty huge. So tickets go on sale, I think, in about a week or in a few days, and those are early bird tickets that'll be like pretty discounted. But they wanted me to talk to the Geekscapists and tell them about LA Comic-Con's December con, because I want to. I mean, I just did that. Like, I moderated like their digital remote convention, and I want to do an in-person one because some of these names are pretty awesome. So I don't know.
Very, very cool.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. In geekdom, like, what have y'all been playing? I think Heidi and I have a film festival coming up this weekend. The Geekscape produced. Chasing Fletcher Allen's playing at Reedy Reels in South Carolina.
In person for you guys. Finally, it's super exciting.
I get to sit in a theater and have people call me names. But they're gonna love Heidi, and hopefully they love the film. And that plays this Saturday. So next episode will probably be from South Carolina. But in non-Geekscape film news, like, what is going down? I mean, it seems like every time we do a Geekscape podcast, the next day something big happens. And in the case of last week, it was the Eternals trailer for Marvel hitting, and we got the Eternals trailer, and it definitely looked like the Eternals. And do y'all want me to tell you who the Eternals are? Because that trailer sure didn't.
I watched a deep dive on it, and it helped explain a bit of it. There's so much I don't know about the Eternals. One of my favorite memes was when they were like, the useless, and I was like, well, okay, there's different timelines. We might have different reasons why they haven't showed up yet in the multiverse, but it looks so good, and I'm excited for Kumail. Kumail looks awesome.
Yeah, the movie looks beautiful, and I think I will say this, and I think Ian Kerner will back me up when we talk Marvel Comics. The Eternals, I think people are looking at it as a possible misfire for Marvel. I have too much faith in Marvel to think that they're going to misfire. Everything's connected. Even the movies that I've not liked as much as the others, I've still liked. And and if this is one of those, then great. It's still better than a lot of stuff out there, and it's still a fun comic book movie. and it sounds like it's got a sense of humor, which is always a part of that charm that Marvel puts in their films. As for who the Eternals are in the comic pages, I've never felt like they've had one definitive run that has felt really good. I mean, they come out of the product of that 1960s 70s race to like make more teams, and they're not the Inhumans, but they are a hidden group. They are as old as the universe and or this and that, and they're always being retconned. Like, is Thanos one of them? No. Well, he's a Titan. Well, what's a Titan? Is a Titan like an Eternal? And even now in the comics, they're trying to kind of merge Thanos's origin into the Eternals as kind of a bridge.
There's a different branch, right? There's like a different branch of the Eternals. I keep saying the wrong word in my head, but okay, forgive me. It's not the Degenerates, but it's something like that, right? Yeah. Or maybe that is.
And I can't keep the Eternal stuff straight because like Neil Gaiman, who's a master storyteller, did a run on the Eternals, and I came away being like, and like right now there's one that's going on where I'm like, okay.
I mean, maybe. But couldn't you make that same argument for like the Guardians of the Galaxy pre the movie Guardians of the Galaxy? Like
100%.
Like there wasn't like a definitive really anything with that. Like I was like, I'm gonna see this movie because it's a Marvel movie. I don't know who the hell these people are or what this is.
There was a definitive story for Guardians of the Galaxy. It was called Farscape. And it was a Henson-produced sci-fi show about basically a spaceship full of criminals. That's a joke because it's cemeteries. Yeah,
it was a comic that like they didn't really follow the comic, but like the movie was still amazing, and Pratt and everyone was so great.
I would say that the Guardians of the Galaxy pre-Abnett and Lanning. It's very true. Like, who are the Guardians of the Galaxy? Those are the Yondu characters that you saw that were like the Ravers, the Ravagers, whoever in episode in like the second one, the Sylvester Stallone team. Those are the original Guardians in the comics. But in like the early 2000s, Abnett and Lanning did this storyline where they were like, okay, let's just kind of have these disparate, space Marvel characters, and let's make a new Guardians of the Galaxy core one, and let's send them off on an adventure. And that stuff started to include all the different space characters from Marvel, and it led to a pretty big Annihilation event that had to do with a bunch of different characters. And who knows if those characters get introduced? I think the Fantastic Four would be a good entry point to some of those space-faring characters. Obviously, Guardians will be, but maybe Thor, Love and Thunder will be. But we're going to get a lot of cool space movies. And Eternals is just another corner of that stuff. Does it have a definitive storyline? No. Did Guardians? No. And the script that they had that Nicole Perlman had written for Guardians of the Galaxy, supposedly it was more Star-Lord looks for his father, which turned into the second movie. And James was like, no, let's make this a different story. And he kind of did his own thing, which is why he got, I think, full writing credit for it. Or maybe he shared story with Nicole Perlman, who writes a bunch of Marvel stuff too. But I'm going in with open eyes and ears and open opinions.
I haven't even watched the Eternals trailer, which makes me super unqualified. I got really sucked into the Dear Evan Hansen trailer dropping instead and was just like, yes, at last.
Finally. It's crazy how fast we're getting this stuff. By the end of the week, we're going to have Sweet Tooth. In the next couple of days, we're going to have Loki.
I was just going to say.
We're going to end up with a Black Widow movie, in a month. Like, this stuff is coming so fast and heavy.
There was heavy rumors of a Spider-Man trailer today, too, that didn't end up dropping. But
that's true.
Apparently, it's got to be right around the corner. I got rickrolled on it today, actually.
No!
Yeah.
How did that make you feel, Derek?
It was a good one. It was like in one of the screen print trading groups that I'm in on the internet, and it had like the right thumbnail, and you tap on the YouTube account, and it was like Sony Pictures Entertainment, but with two N's. So and it started with like a clip from Spider-Man, before the music hits, and it was really creative. I was into it.
You know what? Like, can somebody rickroll somebody with a song that's not as tight as the
I
rickroll
was
song?
literally going to say the same thing. I will sit through that whole song because I love that
Oh, I
song.
love it. It's
It's a good song. It's a really good song.
Yep. People
Do you
need
remember
to
when-
say something.
It does make me a measure of anger, and then I laugh, but then I get a little bit angry again. Like I never really know how to fully feel about a rickroll, especially because it's like this is still happening.
Yeah. Can we also try to start using "Together Forever" as a Rickroll tune? Because that's that deserves just as much credit as "Never Gonna Give You Up." Do you remember when he rickrolled the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade?
No.
On the
No.
the Yo Gabba Gabba float. Like the Yo Gabba Gabba float, they started singing a song on the float, and then all of a sudden the music hit, and Rick Ashley burst out of the middle of the float and just performed the song in its entirety.
That's
You can
amazing.
find it on YouTube. It's fantastic.
I'm looking that up as soon as we're done here. I'm very excited about this.
That's Geekscape for the week, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. We're gonna go watch Yo Gabba Gabba. Yeah, we're gonna go watch some of that. But Derek, you said that Michaela just finished reading the first storyline of Sweet Tooth, and
she finished all 40 issues actually. Yeah, it was. I'm so glad that she read it because I was reading it and just loving it. And like you have to read this. Anytime I tell her to do anything, it just makes her not want to do it like intensely. Okay. And so anytime I try to suggest anything, it's risky because she'll not do it just because I suggest it for her. But she absolutely loved the book, and then like I've got a few other Jeff Lemire books on the shelf, and so she's reading like Lost Dogs now, and she's just like floored by like both his art style, which I think is really quite unique, but the stories that he tells are just unreal, and we cannot. Friday's going to be tough because she won't be home until like 9 p.m. and so for me to sit there all day and to not be able to watch Sweet Tooth until then is going to be tough. But I'm so happy that she read it, and because now we can kind of go through that the series together and see what we come away with, see how different it is, and if it hits the right beats and everything like that. But I'm so excited for it.
Invincible had a shout out to the Underwater Welder in one of the episodes.
I sent her a video of that, and I was
so happy.
Everything else in that show is like parody of it's like obviously that's like Batman or something, but
that's
Doctor
Strange.
Yeah, but to just straight up be like, oh, this is the Underwater Welder. It's about a underwater welder who starts seeing ghosts. Like,
so those of you who's watched Invincible, there's a sequence where the main character Mark is talking to his girlfriend about comic books, and he just describes Jeff Lemire's Underwater Welder beat for beat. And I thought it was so cool that those characters like that. There's that kind of like indie comic love connection going out there, especially now that the creators are all slowly getting into the mainstream and getting on Netflix. Like I never thought in a million years I'd be seeing Sweet Tooth on Netflix, right. even when it got optioned, even when it was like, okay, Robert Downey Jr. optioned it. Doesn't mean they're going to go ahead and pull the trigger on this insane story, and I hope they pull it off. I think we're obviously in a golden age. I don't know if y'all ended up watching Jupiter's Legacy, but
no, I was curious about that. What I don't know any. It was obviously a comic beforehand, but like I don't know anything about that other than what we briefly talked about.
It's like the Eternals. No, I'm kidding.
I do have before you jump into that, I have a Sweet Tooth-based question.
Yeah, go for it.
So Derek talked about reading them on a previous episode, so I immediately went on Amazon and bought the first hardcover.
Yeah.
It hasn't shown up yet. So my question is this. It's twofold.
Where the hell did it go?
Yeah, where the fuck is it? No.
Thought it was number one is Amazon Prime.
I'll teach him to put that couch on the curb.
Yeah. Question number one is, should I hold off watching the show until I can read the comics? And second question is, do you think that just reading the first hardcover should cover this season? Or do you think that they're going to try to do the entire series in one show?
I think it's 8 episodes. I cannot imagine them running through the entire series because quite a bit happens. But are things also mixed up? Do things happen in a different order than you would expect from reading the book? I think it's tough. I would say read the book.
All right, well, Derek, you text me on Saturday because I know you'll finish the whole damn thing on Friday and say you're safe to watch it after you read the hardcover. We've also got
The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It coming out on Friday. I got to split my time between the two of them.
I think Derek's advice is sound. I think that Derek and I will hopefully watch those episodes by early next week. I think Derek and I should do a Sweet Tooth episode or something. And I think that will be the nice barometer of whether or not like the story is complete, or if there's going to be, or if it's just the first couple chapters of it. But
or if it doesn't follow that much of the template
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Like that could also just do their own story in that world, and then it's like, all right, we'll fucking just watch it and then read the comics.
I would also take a look, like, is any of it on like Comixology Unlimited or anything? Because you could get like a or even whatever the one that you Prime Reading is, or is any of it available there? Because
Matt
you could get a good head start there too.
Matt doesn't do digital.
As soon as I started saying,
Matt wants it to collect dust. And when Matt brings over a future prisoner, he can be like, "What do you think of these DVDs?"
All right, hold on a second.
I guarantee you, it's in your neighbor's house right now, and she's gonna charge you an HOA fee.
Matt, what is happening at your house right now while the episode's running? Matt just heard a sound in his house. This is exciting, folks. Matt's about to get murdered.
No, please, not this.
One of the things that is up here in the studio, which is what I refer to this loft area. I'm going to turn on this light so you can see it.
Okay.
It's actually good lighting too.
Yeah, we've got that bookshelf back there is CDs. That is 1/3 of the CD collection currently, and that is
it's reaching the ceiling. And
it's 3 rows back.
I feel like I didn't know about the CD collection. I thought it was just DVDs and VHS.
Okay, so what you're telling me, Matt, is the couch is not the only thing that you have to leave on a curb.
No, I mean, I got a bookshelf downstairs too. Yeah.
Of those bookshelves, like of the 3 deep CDs, which one have you listened to recently?
Oh, I'll pull it up right now. Hold on a second. I'll be back.
Why did I ask? I thought we were going to say
this is riveting content. This is riveting.
He did it.
You just put another quarter in them. Like, what the fuck?
He's got to show you. He couldn't just.
We were actually talking about movies, video games, and comics as I promised the audience, and you went and put another quarter in that.
I had to.
So in the move, I found this, which is my high school band's album.
So it's kind of worth it. It's kind of worth it.
That sounds pretty badass.
So
can you digitize it and send it out?
Matt, you're saying you digitized it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you email me an MP3 and I will share it in this broadcast?
No.
Why? Why are you living your life in fear?
He's trying to get those royalties, bro.
Listen, John. I am a businessman first. What will happen is that
I'm putting that on SoundCloud. I'm gonna make some money.
Eventually, there's gonna be a Geekscape Patreon account, and we can do a listen party on Discord once that Geekscape Patreon account is up and live.
Matt, do you want to just send me one track to sweeten the deal?
Just like 30 seconds, we can throw 30 seconds out there.
So Matt and I, we talked last week about all the different stuff that we got going on with Geekscape. Obviously, this summer we're talking to a group about doing a national blood drive for Chris Ellis. I've reached out to a couple of people about coming on, doing a fun Geekscape 600 stream. I don't know if it's going to happen. We're working on a lot of different things. But one of the ideas was a Patreon. I've been staunchly opposed to doing a Geekscape Patreon because, well, it's just, come on, man. Like we send out t-shirts every week. We do fine. The Patreon, though, one thing that Matt and I talked about was, it just goes to Matt and whoever is keeping up the network and maybe, what else we need. But I don't want to touch any of the Patreon stuff. I think I can make stuff for the Patreon. I think like shirts, it would be a cool tier for the Patreon. I've got all these, these are kind of cool. I've got tons. George Callert always makes these things, but we've got magnets and Geekscape stickers and Here Are the Prophecy pins and all this stuff that I just have, and I think those would be fun for Patreon.
That people send to you that you don't have, that you don't want at all as well.
No,
going through it.
That goes into the Comic-Con box.
Yeah, all that stuff just happens. And I think I just stuffed a bunch in the shirts that went out last week, and here, have some Geekscape magnets, and here are the Prophecy magnets, and this and that. And I think that will be fun fulfilling the Patreons. But I think that money will just basically go to Matt and Geekscape infrastructure. Maybe advertising or outreach, but we good over here in the London household. I'm all right on that. We're good over here. Chris Robinson says he's still waiting on a shirt. Email me at jonathan@geekscape.net, Chris. Sorry about that. I'm going to send you 2 shirts. Okay,
Ooh,
that's my bad
fancy.
on that one. Yeah. I mean, you found out what happened when Katie tried to pay for a Geekscape shirt. I was like,
down the hall, just you better not get it. You better not get it.
Maybe we could start giving away Matt's CDs.
Here's what happened. I got an
nowhere.
order. I got a Geekscape order from Katie. She had bought a shirt, and I just was like, I texted her. I was like, "What the heck are you doing?" So the next day, she gets a text that was like, "Which apartment's yours?" And then she gets a knock on the door, and she had like 7 shirts. I just was like, "Your money's no good here."
I think it was 5, and 3 of them were from Mark.
Yeah, I love Mark. Mark,
he's good too.
and I just don't want. Who cares? Ultimately, I'm not saying I'm relaxed about it. I think
the money will go to good causes.
Money will go to a good cause.
The NAACP or to Matt Kelly. They're both like the same.
Yeah.
Hey,
cause.
we're both just trying to survive in this crazy world.
Katie spent $25 ordering a shirt she never had to buy, so I spent $100 in her name going to the NAACP. I was like, here you go.
And then I spent money on the NAACP as well, and I was like,
we're just trying to do good stuff here on Geekscape because you know what? We're here for about 80 years, and then in a couple millennia, the Earth will get sucked into the sun. So who gives a fuck?
Yay! So what else are you guys
That's
watching?
how I feel.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. And we just have to.
Optimism.
No, here, listen.
We will still be there.
Matt is trying to quit a job. If you don't know, he's putting it all over Facebook. Like, y'all ever done freelance? and so here's the thing. If we can't keep Matt alive, I'm gonna have to run this crap. And so I'm just trying to keep Matt alive. Matt, knowing that you're probably gonna be poor and unable to eat, what you do is you take a can of dog food. You ever see the beginning of Lethal Weapon when Mel Gibson's eating dog food?
Oh, yes, and gross.
Hey, Matt, this is what you do. All right. So,
but a t-shirt.
Yeah. Speaking of Matt's neck of the woods, I have not started this Mayor of Easttown stuff, but like it is taking the internet by storm. I know Derek hasn't finished it. I don't think Matt's living it. And then Katie finished it.
Yeah, I haven't even started it. I'm gonna watch it. The people at Bingetown just announced that they're gonna do one of the 2 shows they do is Rooks and Vets. Rooks and Vets is where they have 3 of them who've never watched the show and 2 have like obsessively watched the show. So they're going to revisit it with the 2 that have obsessively been watching it and the 3 that haven't. And I'm just going to follow along with that the same way I did with Shadow and Bone. So they'll do like 1 episode at a time. I'll watch the episode and then listen to their breakdown and then wait a week.
I think that the closest I've heard that it's compared to is maybe like a True Detective style storyline.
Yeah. It was like, we don't really need a True Detective season 4 because we've got Mayor of Easttown or
I feel like it's
Mason or anything.
It's like a bit less dark and like if I remember correctly, it's dark. It's not like.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I don't think it's like
it's not
True Detective dark. And like the first, I don't remember the second season, but the first season had a lot of like occult elements, which are definitely not a thing in Mayor of Easttown.
I mean, there's a couple red herrings and things, but the thing is that one is Kate Winslet, who's just amazing.
So that was the weirdest thing. Amazing. Was like living because the town that I live in specifically is where they shot it.
Oh, really?
So they shot like there's a ton of scenes apparently that are on my sister's street, and she saw Kate Winslet jogging past her house every morning on her like morning run, and she was like, "This weird." Like she was like it's just, but it's weird for us because we're like, why does anyone care about little old Delco? Like Delco is just like the trash like stepbrother of like Philadelphia. But
I wondered where they had shot it because it's very like all of the interiors, all of the houses, like it feels very East Coast and not at all like, oh, we shot this in Vancouver and made it look like Pennsylvania.
Yeah, no, they were living in Aston and Brookhaven, Pennsylvania, shooting most of it, and then like. They went to like a lot of it was shot in like Ridley Park and Upper Darby, which is like a 20-minute drive from here. And that's kind of like you'll notice I definitely have a Pennsylvania accent, but I don't have quite the accent that they have on that show. That's more of if you were to go like 20 minutes from there, that's how every person talks. Like everyone has that accent.
And that's the thing. I didn't realize how great Kate Winslet was at accents, and like she picks her moments, but like it's very natural. Like it doesn't feel forced at all, in my opinion. And I'm not from Pennsylvania, so I don't know that accent very well. But it's subtle enough that it feels natural. And we every time we would watch an episode, we just be like, I don't know, my daughter fell in the water, just like over and over and over again.
Water is definitely a part of it. And Matt, I think that just hit up the production and see if they're doing a season 2 and if they need a couch.
Yeah, a couch. I got a perfect
y'all need a couch and a shelf full of Buck Cherry CDs. let's do that. Kate Eglin says, "Oh my goodness, the dedication to dead media that Matt has." Yeah,
I'm sitting in between where this desk is. There's 2 tiny bookshelves, and the one bookshelf is filled with every single Goosebumps book that's ever been released, and the other one's filled with every Animorphs book that was ever released.
Matt,
and he wouldn't trade it for anything.
Matt, where can you tilt the camera? I want to see the wall real quick. I just want to make sure there's enough space for you to put a sign that says the Pussy Parlor, because that is going to just be, I mean, that's going to have more slams than WrestleMania here pretty soon. If that's why are there crutches over there, Matt?
So that was all.
Matt, hold up here. Why are there crutches on the wall?
London,
this room's still being cleaned, but I found those in the closet when I was cleaning out the closet.
Not only are there crutches, but clearly crutches on the second floor. Oh, you want the crutches? Go upstairs and grab
get them.
I hurt my foot.
So my sister and her husband lived here, and then her husband's brother lived up here in this loft area.
Why the second floor? Why the second floor? You should not have somebody on crutches.
So no, here's the best part. So I'm cleaning out their closet after they're finally moved out, and I'm texting her about like, do you need this? Can I throw this out, etc. And then I text her and I was like, hey, perchance
why are you doing this?
Because I need to clean this house. But I was like, hey, perchance were you missing 2 plates? And she was like, oh God, why? Because they always talked about how her husband's brother was like the filthiest person. I'm like, well, I found 2 plates that were caked in barbecue sauce with napkins stuck to them, wrapped in a Wawa bag and shoved in between 2 towels in the closet.
Matt, you cannot clean that house until that house will be clean when Zelda Rubinstein steps out of it and declares it clean, and not a second earlier. When you have Zelda Rubinstein walk out of that house and be like, this house is not clean, that is when your house is clean, and not a moment earlier. There are fucking critters and ghosts and cats and fucking basket cases and all sorts of stuff. Dude, there's an attic in that house?
This theoretically would be the attic of it.
There's not an attic that you know about. That's a what?
It has a huge basement.
Yeah,
huge.
Oh man, there's probably like tunnels going to your neighbor's house. I don't like it.
I love it. I love it. This is
Matt,
great.
You gotta get out, man. Like the only thing
keeping a podcast called My Haunted House.
Yeah, it's gonna last 1 episode, and halfway through you're gonna hear this. No, don't.
But it still gets uploaded.
Yeah, it's gonna get uploaded. Somebody's gonna be like, "Oh yeah,
there's a mid-roll even."
I'm gonna upload this and this. I guess it's some high school band CD. Let me upload that. Sounds pretty good, man. Oh shit, Buck Cherry. And then
there's so many cans of dog food around.
What's all this boy been eating dog food for the last month?
So I got to address Chris Robinson asking the dumbest question anyone could possibly ask. Does Matt have any VHS? Of course.
Does Matt have VHS? I think, let's be clear, Chris.
It's like a facetious question.
This is a perspective game. The VHS has Matt.
Yeah.
All right. One is a slave to the other. Don't ever think that Matt owns any of this stuff. It owns him. We are our belongings. Isn't that like a Zen Buddhist thing that, like, you know, that saying, we are our belongings?
Yeah,
I'm completely paraphrasing and butchering it.
Listen, I still do my headspace every day, but there's times where I'm like, well, they're not talking about me.
The hubris.
Oh, Matt, you got some. I mean, there's like some addiction thing going on here where it's like, I can quit anytime I want.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Buck Cherry's got a new album. Like, it's just you can't.
I do want to clarify that I only have one Buck Cherry album.
Okay. Oh shit, that's one too many. Okay, Matt, let's role play. All right, we role played we role played a little bit. We like RPGs here on the Geekscape. We like the role playing. We role played a little bit with what you're gonna do with the couch. Let's say, Matt, you now have this bachelor pad. You're gonna start a new life for yourself. It's looking pretty tight. Let's say one day you're out for a walk and you have this beautiful neighbor your age. And she's into Buck Cherry. She's into all the VHS stuff. Let's just say she's into a horror movie, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, I love horror movies. You should come over. Let's say you start dating. At one point, there's always a point. They say, enough about this one thing about you. It always happens, Matt. It'll happen to you too. If she tells you to get rid of the VHSs,
I can get rid of the VHSs. I'm not. So it depends. Here's the thing. Most of the VHS tapes that I have at this point, like there's ones that are like non-negotiable, and I feel like if they hear me out, they're like home videos of my grandfather. You know what I mean? Like that's the stuff that I'm keeping the VHS. Like those are the only tapes that I still really hold on to is like stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, I don't need Elvira on VHS. I've got
that's an opportunity.
Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I think that's an opportunity for her to say, "Oh, Matt has these VHS of his grandfather, and I'm going to digitize these for Matt for our 1-year dating anniversary." What if? So you would you do it? What if she said, "Now get rid of the DVDs and the Blu-rays"?
Ooh, that's tough.
I just want to note, Christopher Robinson has now taken dibs on the VHS.
Christopher Robinson in the chat says, "Me and Logan will take them."
Yeah,
I think he and Logan. I mean, I don't know, but maybe they're already good and domesticated. But Matt, what if the price of because you are a man who now aggressively is trying to get to that next step in life. You are looking like, I want partnership, I want domestication, I want to be seen as an independent professional.
What if I've been happily talking about this real quick.
These DVDs.
So I actually shot a message out on OkCupid to someone that I was interested in.
Oh shit!
No response. Very devastated. But I mean, here's the thing. Most of the time, I'm on those apps, and no one grabs my attention. Really, this was the one that grabbed my attention. Was under the private thing that I'm willing to admit here. It said, "I've seen Weird Al 4 times and plan to do 4 more." And I was like, need to message this person right now. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah, but that was like a week ago. No response. So I don't know. I think
this is what you do, Matt. Here's what you do. You crack open a can of dog food.
You crack it open, get the phone out while you got the can of dog food.
Wash the dog food under your phone to get the scent. Once they have the scent,
because they're just rabid.
Bolt T on Twitch. What's up, guys? I'll be out in a second. It's just my Vin Diesel's pulling up once we were riding with him. It's a little Fast 9 promotion. Don't worry about it. So Bolt T on Twitch actually said some good advice. He said, you shut out one message. You need to cast a wide net, Matt. You can't just go after what you like. You have. I mean, I straight up had relationships with people I didn't even like.
I don't know. What about Bolty's second piece of advice?
Okay. Bolty also said, this is how you online date. Write a message to every girl online.
Whoa,
okay, listen.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, see, I feel like I'm going to stick with my being choosy and being like,
it's working for you so far.
Well, here's the other thing, though. When you're picky choosy, especially online dating, 9 times out of 10, it's kind of like putting yourself out there for like acting gigs. Like you're not going to get the audition like 9 times out of 10. But if you're not casting out that 10th message, then you're not going to get that audition. Like you got to be doing that every day. If that's something that you want.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing that's kind of frustrating with online dating that I've noticed anyway, and I'm not sure if anyone else has dabbled in that fun world, but I don't think any of the online dating apps are good at like registering like, this person hasn't logged in for 7 months. Maybe we shouldn't put them up on people's recommended anymore. So
yeah, they could be dead.
So like there's a lot of times where like those people could like be in a relationship now, like no longer do it, but like their account's still active.
They're dead.
I mean, I didn't want to go to that level, but yeah.
One of them might be in the couch downstairs.
That's true. Let me open a can of dog food.
Dog food right now.
Open a can of dog food. Matt, I think that what Bold T and Katie say, for the most part, are very, very true. I think my approach to it would be to say, hey, Matthew, you're going to want to practice as well and just get out there. So I would say just send some messages out. And if you have some nice dinners and some nice lunches and some nice coffee dates, hey, you're just meeting people and you can develop some wonderful friendships from that. And I think that's nice for everybody.
But make them pay because you're about to be a freelancer.
So this was the So this was the other thing that made me laugh was
we're going Dutch, right?
So I use OkCupid as like the primary dating app. Okay. And I got a message today that was like, hey, you've got 1 free boost. See what it's like if you sign up for OkCupid, like if you're a paying member of OkCupid. So it's like, all right, let's try this free boost. Now you'd think that if they were giving you a free version of something that you would eventually have to pay for, that it would do anything, but like afterwards it checked up. It was like, hey, because you used that free boost, you showed up in 1.1 more times in people's accounts than previously.
I hate them. I hate them, and I hate them, and I hate them, Matt. Yeah. Do not.
I'm not paying them a cent.
Is OkCupid any good? I don't know any of this stuff.
I mean, technically, normally I'm juggling between OkCupid, Hinge, Bumble, and Tinder's kind of not great.
What about
and then filter off?
You live out in the middle of nowhere. Why don't you do that like farmers only?
I don't live in the middle of nowhere. Kate Winslet runs past my sister's house.
Yeah, okay. I got you. I mean, let's keep in mind, like when my granny in Amarillo went to an old folks home, she used to walk near Oprah every morning because Oprah was being sued by the cattle ranchers after she talked about like meat spreading like some kind of disease, and they sued her. I'm paraphrasing, don't sue me, but do y'all remember like Oprah was in a lawsuit against cattle ranchers in Amarillo, Texas?
No, not
she had, this was in the
I'm sure this is a little bit more prevalent to you.
Late 90s, early 2000s, and she had to broadcast her show out of Amarillo, Texas, and she had to be there for like months. And she was in this lawsuit, and we had just put our granny in an old folks home, and they happened to pass each other on their morning walks. And my granny's from an earlier time, so she didn't know that it was Oprah. She was already like not able to take care of herself, and we were like, "How do you like the home?" And she says, "It's really great. I get to say hi to that nice lady every morning."
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Granny.
When I was doing,
Granny. Oh boy, she was losing it.
Many years ago, when I was doing the dog walking as a full-time career. That's when I learned that Wanda Sykes lives nearby, because I used to pass her all the time when I was walking dogs in media, which was another weird Philadelphia celebrity that's just living in the suburbs for some reason.
Wow. So now what Matt would do is Matt would open a can of dark. No, stupid.
The bit has officially.
The bit is done. The bit is done.
Yeah. Gone the way of the dodo.
Comic-Con 2022, that bit's coming back. Just gonna sit there.
Come and get your Geekscape can of dog food with every purchase.
Yep.
There's a big old pile of Alpo behind the table.
the way.
Oh my gosh. That needs to be our new sponsor. We need Matt. You need to reach out to Alpo.
Matt,
get them on board with this bit.
This Patreon thing could get a lot easier if you just get us that Alpo sponsorship, Matt. The way my dementia works is I'll be just randomly making some stupid comment, and something from like a year or two ago that we were way into is just gonna pop back on. And it'll be the next month's worth of bad jokes.
I'm waiting for it. I know that there was a video I sent pre-pandemic where I was like, "Get ready for us to quote this all San Diego Comic-Con," and it is long gone out of my memory now. But I'm sure it'll pop up again. Yeah,
Matt, send me that damn track of your band from high school, please.
I'll send you. I know.
Send it to me right now.
I'll send you our best track. Let's say
you're gonna do this right now. Is this something? Can I reward the listeners for listening to the end of the episode with a track from Matt Kelly's high school band?
Oh God! All right.
Now listen.
Definitely send the best one.
No. You will send me the worst one.
Listen, even the best one ain't very good.
The promise is that when you get the Patreon together sometime this summer, the rest is waiting for them as a reward.
No, but see, this is the thing. If the best track is as bad as the track I'm about to send you, then just they wait for how bad the rest of this is. Because this is the thing. We recorded this in a single take.
The whole album?
The whole album. And I was drumming and doing the vocals. So there's tracks where I forget words.
Okay. Matt, some of the most seminal punk bands did the same thing, Matt.
Yeah, I wasn't one of them.
Yeah. Noted. Okay, Matt.
It got sent.
Okay, Matt is sending me the MP3 right now. We have a world premiere coming up on Geekscape of Matt's high school band. And if you like what you hear, subscribe to the Geekscape.
Buy a t-shirt.
Subscribe, buy a t-shirt, whatever it is. Subscribe to the Geekscape, Facebook, and subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to all the Geekscape stuff, and you're going to find out about the Patreon, where you can then get access to the next offering from Matt's band. I'm going to go ahead and save this track, and then I'm going to play it for y'all here as we come out of the episode, and y'all can go on with your lives without any more bother from the Geekscape crew. Anything that we want to add? Let me see how we y'all go ahead and add whatever you want
while you're doing
just
this?
vamp a little bit while I figure out how to play Matt's high school CD.
So I know that the answer is no from John, because I don't think he watched it in the week that I had texted him to watch it. But Katie or Derek, did either of you watch the Orange Years documentary on Hulu?
I'm in Canada.
Okay, fair.
There's no Hulu.
I'm saying huge recommend on this. It's a documentary about how Nickelodeon got started, and it is heartfelt. It is fascinating, and you will walk away from that literally just thinking these were some of the smartest people in television history. What they were able to do and create, and always kind of keeping this idea of we're just going to be an edgier version of PBS. We still want to teach kids, but we want to make it feel like it's dangerous for the kids to be watching it. It goes a really long way, and it's also just
they were the ones that got me into sketch comedy, because all of that was just such an amazing show.
Well, and that's it. And they interview all that kids. They talk about really the big thing that I learned from it was that they didn't know what their show was going to be until they found old episodes of You Can't Do That on Television from Canada. And they were like, this is what we're modeling the entire channel off of. This is so bizarre. And there's nothing offensive about it, but it feels like something that parents wouldn't want their kids watching, even though it's totally G. Yeah. So that just became the whole concept of how far can you push it without going too far where, the kids' parents might not want them watching it, but then you can let them have as much fun and make it feel like it's their show versus Disney, which felt very micromanaged.
100%. So over the summer, over the pandemic, I was writing for Disney for the YouTube channel, and anytime I would get a note, it was we can't show this, we can't do this, we can't talk about this. The one note that I am allowed to say is that we weren't allowed to talk about Raja the tiger, because Tiger King was a huge thing, and they didn't want anything referencing tigers that might slip into that kind of thing.
Well, we stopped.
I ended up writing sketches that were totally
it's a lion.
And they're like, why did you do this? And I was like, I don't know. I'm sorry.
I found out very quickly when we were doing the Disneydo podcast on Geekscape. One of the many reasons why that show kind of went away was that Disney has a very strong hold on podcasts that have the word Disney in it. So we couldn't get on half the streaming services that all the other shows could get onto, because they're like, nope, you're not Disney sanctioned, but you have Disney in your name. We're not legally allowed to put your show on our services.
Yeah, they're pretty much on lockdown.
So Matt, I've got what was the name of your band here in high school?
They were called Off the Wall, off of our only album Life's Soundtrack, and the song that John's about to play is us desperately trying to be Blink-182 with a song called Ferris Bueller, You're My Hero, which is
Matt,
from Ferris Bueller.
I saw the name of the title track here, and I just got to tell you, like, we know Ferris Bueller's trash, right?
Yeah.
He's a horrible human being.
Yeah. No, I mean, but when I was 16, I was like, yeah, that seems like the type of person you want to be, right?
Hey, maybe if I was trash, people would like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what you do. You get a kid of dog food, and you... Okay.
No,
all right.
Bring it back.
So here we go, Geekscapists. I want y'all to subscribe to our YouTube, our Twitch, join our Facebook groups, Geekscape Forever, and the Geekscape page, and share some Geekscape with your friends. We got like 18 shows on the network. It grows every time I talk about it. But search for Geekscape on your favorite podcatcher. You'll find us. And
do you want us to still jump back on after the song?
Well, it depends on the song, Matt.
Okay.
It depends on the song. If the song makes me horribly ill, I don't want to come back. But I'm really just saying this because I want the Geekscapists to share the podcast and share all this stuff. And if the song makes some of them veer off the road and die because their ears have exploded, then I want to make sure that they've at least texted their friends to tell them about Geekscape. Like, we might be freaking releasing some kind of audio virus right now.
Oh boy!
And
this could be
this is the beginning of a damn
games, guys.
This is like the beginning of a Stephen King book right now.
Oh boy!
No
return.
Okay, here we go, Geekscapists. We got the world premiere. Wait, is this a world premiere? Y'all didn't have like a huge premiere, right?
I mean, we had a record release party that a few people came to.
Enough gilding the lily.
All right, Geekscapists. This is the world premiere of Matt Kelly's high school band. This is Off the Wall with their song. Let me pull this up. It is called Ferris Bueller, You're My Hero. And I'm just saying, this is their new track. It's some pretty tight stuff. And here we go. Let me know if you can hear this.
I'm not great, security. Find out right now, so happy. On the new bed, take a shower. Look parts in an hour. No breakfast, start walking. To myself, I start talking. Get a stool and sit in class. Stare at a clock and I watch time pass. Classroom, not paying attention. Like I'm talking, so no one has attention. Running lyrics in my notebook. Not single note have I cooked. That's not the test. Surprised that I failed. Do my homework and I just missed the test. Oh my god, I'm gone up and couldn't turn all day like that. A ruler, stay up like Ferris Bueller. Around the house like I'm so cool.
Oh,
it's childish. So it is high school. Finally, outdoors I go. Yes. World I already know. Now I must go to work. No minimum wage. Grocery store clerk. Basic notes on my life away. People yell at me all day. Got to the house, computers and bed. As I fall asleep, words are said. Gotta close off it. That'll do it. Stay up like Ferris Bueller. But around the house like I'm so cool. Ferris Bueller said, it's childish. So it's like So it's high school. So it's high school. So it's high school.
high school.
So we were listening to a lot of Blink and MXPX at that time.
Finally, I can't tell you how many times I've referenced MXPX and no one knew what I was talking about. So that actually makes my heart good.
That was a 2-minute 13-second song, and it felt like eternity. that song
I have a question.
was in no way short. Or how many? I thought it was an EP.
No, it's a full length. 13 more tracks.
Oh,
There's
Matt, we're trying to get people to sign up for the Patreon, not like burn it to the ground.
Hear me out. There's 2 skits. There's an acoustic track, and there's a rap
Why would you
song.
say that? Why would you say that?
Chris
I was
Fafalios
rooting
is
for
saying-
you.
Chris Fafalios is in like 7 bands, including Punchline. He just said that sounded exactly like MXPX.
Yeah.
If MXPX had brain damage, like this is not. This is bad.
No, if MXPX was really exploring the Doppler effect of just like going around and out.
Hey,
you're drumming, so like I get it. Like you gotta go in, you gotta go out.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it was drumming and singing simultaneously, which was fun. I was like, let me see if I can.
I feel like we need to have some Patreon perk where, like, if someone donates enough, we'll listen to the whole
Matt Kelly
album front to back.
No, we're gonna need a Patreon perk where we send people to therapy. This is not. There's no part of this. This is good.
The worst. So
this is irresponsible.
So here's why that was the best of the tracks, John.
Because it's the shortest?
No, there's some shorter. But the rest of the record, we tried to do ska songs, but like at the time, our guitarists didn't know how to properly do the strumming, so it sounds really off and weird. But yeah, no, you know what? You've met one of the guys in that band.
And you let him live?
Yeah, do you remember Racing Kites?
No, those guys are talented.
Yeah, no, that was me and Matt Howard's first band before he did Racing
Get
Kites.
out of here.
Yeah, Matt was on guitar and I was on drums and vocals.
Let me unfriend. I'm going to unfriend him on Facebook.
Yeah, hey, no, it's a prime example of practice. he continued to practice. I didn't.
Too busy with those Goosebumps books.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Our bassist Nick, who does the backup vocals on that chorus, really should have been the singer of the band. He had a much better voice than me, but he had stage fright and I apparently did not. So I took the mantle.
Matt, I just
take that kind of confidence in with your dating apps.
Yeah.
Just send them the song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Pick up
we're not, Matt, this is an accomplishment.
No, you don't play it again. London. I have to eat dinner.
Matt, it honestly sounds like you took the pizza pockets out of the microwave so fast and just shoved them in your mouth. It burned your entire roof of your mouth, and then you tried singing. It sounds like you're
still in there. It's still in there.
The
pocket is in there.
You just shoved you shoved a molten bagel bite into your mouth before letting it cool down, and then you were like, I think I'm ready to record this track. That's what that sounds like.
This CD, I think the full album's like 40 minutes long, and it took us about 50 minutes to record it all. It was just one take after one take.
Matt, you have to destroy the CD before you have any successful dating. This is the thing keeping you back in your life.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Find of the century.
Bolt T says, dating tip: mention you are a lead singer of a rock band. All right, Geekscapists, that's enough punishment right there. Matt, I want to thank you for being brave and sharing Off the Wall with us. And Off the Wall should now be renamed In the Trash. I love all you Geekscapists, especially Matt, Katie, Derek. I would love Shane, but he's not here. But he almost was. We'll get him on here. There's a lot we didn't talk about because we were too busy ripping on Matt. But we do love him. We love all of y'all. And Geekscapists, you know the spiel. Share Geekscape with 5 of your friends. That helps us get out there. Expect some exciting things this summer. And the best way to keep up with that is by being on the Twitter, the Twitch, the YouTube, the Facebooks, and all the social media for Geekscape. Blah, 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 blah. We love you. So we won't take any more of your time. Derek, Katie, Matt, I think that was a nice Geekscape. Okay?
I agree. Really ended on a high note with that song.
He knows podcasting, so if anybody...
Not music right there.
Matt knows podcasting, and he knows that was gold. We will see you all.
What doesn't Matt know?
Next week. All right? Great. Bye, everybody. I got to figure out a way to get my subscribers back. Yeah.